Okay, we are live. Hooked in. Turn off the volume. Go to chat. And two people here. Hello, whoever. We are live.
It's full sour.
Is it?
Sort of tastes like Kool-Aid.
What's that a message from? Is that from Kirk? I don't know. Oh, Glenn is here. Hi, Glenn. And Andrea's here. Hi, Andrea. And we'll just give it another couple of seconds here to see who's coming. Walter's busy with his hot pot in the background, making something. We'll talk about that later on what's cooking. Let's see. Anybody else yet? No, we have 5 people watching. Only 2 people have acknowledged anything, so we're just going to give it 30 more seconds, and then we'll get started. Might be light today. It's Mother's Day. Keep forgetting that.
Yeah, that's true.
So happy Mother's Day to anybody that's a mother out there. What's that say?
Maybe to are you? How?
No, that's Mike. Never mind.
Mike. Oh.
Yeah, never mind. Okay. What's for snacks? Andrea says. Well, not very fancy. Special K salt and vinegar chips. And these are mojitos. What is it?
Mojitos. Blueberry mojitos. They're from a mix.
From a mix that I thought yesterday made gallons of stuff for $4.
Yeah, well, it makes these too.
Makes these too. Yeah, actually though, it's kind of good.
Mm-hmm.
I like it better than the margarita mix.
Kind of expensive for $5. Was it $5?
No, it was $4. The $3.99. But yeah, it's still a little pricey for what it is. But anyways, okay, well, let's get started. Other people may be joining us at some point. So anyways, happy Mother's Day, as I already said. So we have sort of done one thing for my mother already, but we're taking her out on Tuesday for lunch because any restaurants around here are a zoo. Everybody and their mother, they are out for brunch or out for dinner, and you need a reservation weeks in advance for it. And a lot of them have special menus that are pricey.
Like the art gallery had one today.
Yeah.
And it was $50. I don't know where they came up with money. $53 a person.
Yeah, I don't know. $53. Why not $50? Maybe they're including tax or something in that. I don't know. But I mean, we took my mother to that a few years ago. It was a lot cheaper.
35 still then.
I thought it was only 30.
No, it was 35.
And it was okay, but nothing really. It's not worth $53 a person. There's no way about that. Plus,
I mean, it's nice. I had like finger sandwiches and stuff like that, and salads and stuff. But it wasn't worth.
It's not worth
price.
that price. And
your mother eats like a bird. Anyway,
yeah, my mother just sucks on an attractive carrot and then pushes everything around on the plate, and that's it. And she's full. So we decided that. Well, at one point, I think I discussed this with everybody last week. I was talking about maybe having her and my sister and her husband and that over for dinner. But I forgot, that's my sister's wedding anniversary this weekend. And they got married on Mother's Day weekend way back, whenever. I'm not even sure how many years it's been now.
I don't know. For some reason, I think it's 25, but I'm not
sure. Could be. I don't know. But anyways, see how I keep track of my sister's anniversary? Not. Anyways, they were going.
I remember your brother's because that's the year I bought a car.
Well, he got married in 1989, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, because I bought a 1989 car then.
Well, I think Lori got married in 92 or 93. If it was 93, it would be 25 then.
Yeah.
So it could be. It could be. I'd have to look it up in my scrapbooks to see what the date is. But anyways, well, they never remember our anniversary.
No.
Anniversaries. But
anniversaries, and then they complain that we've got 2, so.
Yeah. So anyways, we decided that, well, my sister, she was going off to a concert tonight, I think. Kim Mitchell. Really? Yeah. She's showing her age or what? Like, Kim Mitchell. Who cares? But whatever. And so they weren't going to be around. So I said to Walter, well, why don't we just take my mother out next week for lunch after the hubbub of Mother's Day's over, and we're taking her to a restaurant she likes. It's just a family restaurant. It's been around for years, but she likes it there. So we'll take
Used to
her.
be close to our old house.
Yeah, it did. So we're taking her out there for lunch. But we took her over. We went over yesterday. Ended up doing more than I anticipated. There's some things there that we needed to bring back here to the house that she no longer needs, and some friends of ours that want them. They're tiles that go over your patio stones and that. But my mother it's taken about a year and a half. They've been redoing a lot in her building with the stuff. They've been redoing their patios and their balconies and everything. So it's been a mess. Well, they finally finished that, so we went and cleaned up the balcony. She's on the ground floor. It was full of crap. Cigarette butts, not hers because she doesn't smoke. Dirt, dust. It'll probably be filled with
It'll
dirt
be
and dust
probably
anymore.
because there's dirt in front of there. So as soon as it's windy day, everything will be covered in dirt again.
Well, hopefully they might plant some flowers or something there, shrubbery.
Well, at
That
least
would be
put
nice,
grass
but-
down.
Yeah, I would think they would do that eventually, but anyways, who knows? So she got it in her head that she did have these wicker chairs that she had sitting out on this little balcony. But she never goes out there to sit. In fact, the cushions in them had sat out there all winter. Now this is a couple of years back, and I guess my sister went over and cleaned it up while they were disintegrating and they were filled with mice. So, so we took everything in when we knew they were going to redo the balconies, and it's been sitting in her spare bedroom for almost 2 years. So she decided she wanted new cushions and she wanted those out. And I said to her, but Mom,
You never sit.
you
out
never
there.
sit out there. Well, I might when the weather's warmer. Well, what I'm a little afraid of is there's a little bit of a step to get down onto the balcony, and I'm just afraid she'll fall. And I've told her that. But to keep her happy, we got her cushions for the chair, we cleaned the balcony all up and the furniture and whatnot. Then we start to clean up the rest of the house. Even though she's got a cleaning lady who's coming on Tuesday. She had a sink full of dishes, which Walter did. Her garbage was piled up. We took that out.
Her vacuum cleaner needs empty.
Vacuum cleaner needed emptying. Just general housework around in the whole bit.
It's not even that she's using the vacuum cleaner. It's the cleaning lady.
It's the cleaning lady, yeah. So anyways, I guess my Mother's Day gift was her. Oh, well, I got her a thing of chocolate.
Okay, you got her a basket of chocolate.
I got her a basket of chocolate, which will make my sister really pissed off. Because my sister says she eats too much sweet stuff. She likes it, she wants it, I got it for her. And I got her like sort of gourmet-y kind of stuff. And I got her a couple of loaves, like one was a ginger loaf and another one was a carrot loaf kind of thing. It comes from a place that she likes. And so I got her a couple of those, so she's well sugared up. Now we'll take her out for lunch and yay, Mother's Day's over again. Chuck says, how's the weather there? Sunny.
Sunny, nice.
It's kind of nice. It's still a little on the coolish.
Yeah. Well,
coolish
actually,
side.
I just walked. We didn't go out today. I just walked out, and it was reasonable. I'm not sure. I don't have my phone with me. I don't have temperature.
Yeah.
It's not quite. I don't think it's 20 today. It's probably about 15 or 16.
Oh, the Aussies
Celsius.
really freezing.
But it's reasonably warm for us.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a lot better than snow. So.
Yeah, that's for sure. And
And the trees are beginning to sprout.
yeah, Cindy's here. Hi, Cindy. And Chuck says, "What a good son and a good son-in-law." Don't ever tell me I'm a good son. I get so pissed off when people say that. And here's why. Nothing against you, Chuck, for saying it. Okay, appreciate the sentiment. But I have heard too many old people say this to me. Oh, you're such a good son. You do this, you do that. You're such a good son.
Let's get my phone. I'll be back.
What?
Go ahead.
No, I'm not a good son. I feel obligated. She's my mother. Okay? No, it's when I hear people say, "Oh, such a good son," in my way of thinking what that means is you're expected to be a good son. You're expected to do these things for your parents and the whole bit. And don't get me on a whole riff about that, because I think I've been on one of those before. Anyways, but no, I have a lot of issues with the expression, "Oh, you're such a good son," from so many people. But nothing against what you're saying, Chuck, just in general, that kind of thing.
It's 18 degrees Celsius.
Oh, it's 18 degrees.
And so it's that's probably about, I'm guessing, probably about 65 Fahrenheit.
Okay, well, it's not bad.
Which is warm for us.
Yeah.
This time of year.
So, anyways, that's Mother's Day off the thing. I did a card class this week at the art gallery. We were speaking about the art gallery a moment or two ago, and that. I never know how many people I'm going to have at these things. They're supposed to sign up for them, but half the time they don't. But actually, this time it was pretty much accurate. I think I had 6 people, and that was fine. Although a couple of them in the group were a little glue challenged. I mean, it was kind of funny. This one lady, who's an artist, actually, I guess she's just not used to using glue. She was stuck from the top of her fingers up to her elbows in it, and everything she touched would pick it up in the glue. It's actually like watching a kindergarten kid with a bottle of glue.
Sounds like a good silent movie.
Yeah, really. But anyways, she was having fun, so that's all that really matters with it. Kathy says, would you share your card with us? Yeah, I can share the card with you. Walter, talk to the people.
Yeah. Hello. Well, it's 18 degrees today and sunny and not windy. So it's really balmy for us. And it's supposed to be sunny all week. So it's supposed to get a little warmer. So it is definitely summerish outside. And though I haven't got my lawn yet, so and I don't like talking to this thing.
Okay, so
I'm sure
kept everybody amused?
No.
No. Okay, Kathy. What we did was I did jelly plate printing, and then we cut them up and put them together in a different order, and so that's what the sample card looked like, the one I made. Theirs didn't look quite like this. They were a little bit more abstract, let's say. And what I mean by that is that one lady wasn't the only one that was glue challenged. But that's what they look like, basically. So, yeah, it was kind of fun, though, because the jelly plate printing is kind of fun to do. And several of them that were there had never done that before, so they liked that. That was kind of fun. Once you've done jelly plate printing, you're hooked. Oh, thanks, Kathy. Kathy says, ooh, love that. Glenn says, do you like your Instapot? We went to order one, but then heard of recall. Scared me off.
No, I haven't had any problems with it.
Hi, Bev.
And
I didn't hear about it.
I think it was an older model that was recalled, not the newer model.
Oh, yeah?
So we haven't had any problems with this one. I haven't used it a ton, but I do use it for a few things. And I do like it.
Yeah.
I've never had a pressure cooker before, so I like the way it works. And plus it's nice because you can saute your vegetables and stuff like that ahead of time before, putting other stuff in it. So it's sort of like
So what do you got in
pot
it?
does everything.
So what are you cooking tonight?
I'm doing curry chicken.
It's curry chicken tonight. Last night he got out the sous vide and did surf and turf with shrimp and steak. And the sous vide always makes everything turn out perfect every time. It's well worth the investment. They're not that expensive. Not
Well, it's good for steak.
Yeah, it's good for steak. But you did this. That was the first time.
Well, I did the shrimp in it too, and
Yeah.
actually that was good too because the shrimp came out good.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's what's cooking tonight. So it's going to smell like Bombay
It is already
in here.
beginning to smell
Well,
like
it's-
Bombay.
Well, this type of curry, though, I mean, a lot of people associate curry who don't know curry as the curry powder, the yellow, and they also always associate the smell of curry with that too. And that's
This
not
is
what
actually
curry
kind
is.
of a brown color, so
Curry is just a term that means a mixture of spices in things, and we really like Indian food. So,
we haven't had it that way. I made something last
well, you
Sunday.
made something last Sunday.
I made
didn't
a tiki masala last Sunday, and so we still had we still have some of that, and then cooking this as well. So
you? Oh, you can just throw that leftovers in with that. I mean, with Indian food, it all looks like it's not the most attractive looking food in the world. Indian food. Okay, so moving on. Okay, last week I showed you the quilt that I was working on. That I was picking all the quilting out of it. I finally got that done. If you saw my vlog on Monday, you've already seen this. It took me a long time to unpick 6 squares with all the quilting I put in it, but you know, the end result, it was worth it. And here's the end result. And this, I really feel, is my best quilt to date. And it's all, I've got the binding on it now and everything. Oh, it looks like a good backdrop for Walter.
Turn around.
And this is the back. The back's a mottled purple, but you can see my lines. It's just parallel lines done with a walking foot for the quilting. And on the front, the quilting is done using a variegated thread to pick up the other colors that are in the quilt. But this one, I really like. And I think I impressed the ladies down at the Ultimate Sewing Store because I took it in to show them yesterday. And also, I'm working on my next one. I think I showed you the quilt top last week, too. I can't remember. I probably did. So I just started, I've got it layered, and I just started the quilting on this one, which ends up, I think that's the top. Now this one's my own design. It's 50 by 50, and I've just started the quilting, and it's probably hard for the camera to pick it up, but I'm quilting diagonally across it, again, walking foot. So I'm really happy with this one, but when you see the background material,
Cool.
But this will drive your eyes batty. Look at that.
That's cool. Actually, it doesn't pick it up that. It doesn't pick it up. Doesn't do it justice on me.
In that, yeah. This is a cool material. Except had one little problem. So I go into the quilting store yesterday, and I knew what size this quilt was, and I want to pick up my background material. And I said to the ladies, okay, I want the double width background material. Like usually a standard meter of fabric, what Americans would call in yards, is about, in Canada, works out to about 44 inches wide, and then you buy the length, whatever length you want. And it's usually doubled on the roll. So when you take it off the roll, you cut it, and you unfold it, you've got 44 inches this way. I'm trying to get it in. And then whatever length. But that would mean I would have had to piece the quilt backing together because there wouldn't have been enough material. Or big enough. So I decided to get the double width material, which is 108 inches wide. And I said, okay, my quilt's 50 by 50. How much of that double width material would you suggest? I said to them, I think I need 2 meters. Oh, they went, oh, no, you don't need 2 meters. Oh, God, that's way too much. No, and they did something. They looked at their cutting mat, and they have some markings on it. Said, you need about 1.3 meters. And I said, well, yeah, but I might want to do my binding out of the same material, too. So, just give me 2 meters. No, way too much material. I'll have tons of it left over. I don't have a problem with that, having it left over, because I'll probably use it in another project. So I didn't see it, but no, they insisted 1.3 meters is all you need. That'll be plenty.
I guess the customer's not always right.
No. So today I'm layering it. I've got it laid out. I'm trying to put together and go, I don't have the material. I had enough material, but I'd have to piece it because it wasn't enough. Like it wasn't long enough to go across in one piece. And it was off by about 1 or 2.1 or 0.2 of a meter, I would say, out of it. If I'd gotten 2 meters of it, I wouldn't have had a problem. So then I had to figure out how am I going to extend it. So basically what I did is I made a border out of the same material all the way around. I cut the biggest piece out of it that I could, and then I cut 4-inch borders out, and I've sewn them all together. The thing is, you won't ever see that as a border because it'll get buried into the things you do with the binding and when you start to square up the quilt and things like that. But you've got to have enough to cover and have over amount when you're putting in your batting. Because when you start to quilt, stuff starts to contract a little bit. So you have to have more than enough over it. I was a little ticked at that because I didn't really want to piece this one. I wanted one solid piece.
Well, then you got to put your foot down and say, I want 2 meters, screw you.
But I'm a novice. And they're the experts.
Yeah, well,
But here's what gets me. Okay, sorry, I'm going to say something now that the women are going to get upset. Women in crafting are cheap as hell. They have point 0.3, 1.3, not 1.5, not 1, not 2, 1.3 meters. And my God, I'm paying for it. It would have cost me, if I'd gotten 2 meters, maybe $3 more, $4 more at the most. Big deal, you know? But yeah, they're always like getting down there and saving those scraps. I save my scraps as well too, like the larger ones. But I thought, no. So next time, I'm going to do what Walter said. I'm going to put my foot down. If I want 2 bloody meters of that material, I'm getting 2 bloody meters of that material with it. So whatever. I mean, they're nice ladies in there anyways, but and they've given me
yeah,
lots
well,
of
they
good
do the
advice.
same thing at when I used to go to stained glass too. They'd like try and cut the pieces, try and get it as all the pieces of glass out of one sheet. And sheets are 12 by 12, and depending on what color you get, they're anywhere from about $7 to $12 a sheet. So it's not like it'll break the bank if you had to buy another sheet.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's the thing. I don't know. But they used to do the same thing when I worked at the scrapbooking store. Paper. 99 cents for a sheet of 12 by 12 scrapbook paper. Then they would hem and haw and try to figure out if one sheet was going to do everything they needed. And I said, why don't you just get a second sheet of paper? Then you're okay. Because, I mean, you'll probably use it on something else anyways if you don't use it this time. It's only 99 cents. Oh, no, I don't really want to go that way because, I don't want to have a lot of leftovers. Okay, whatever. And then, ironically, they would come back in the store 2 weeks later and say, do you know that paper that I bought? And most of the time I wouldn't remember, but whatever. And do you have any more of it? I need another sheet of it. No, it's gone. Can you get any more? No, I can't. Because the problem with scrapbooking paper is if you don't buy enough of it when you see it, your chances of seeing it again are next to none with it. Because that's how they work. The manufacturers of scrapbooking paper. It's in right now. When it's gone, it's gone. They move on to their new line. Whatever. And they get all uptight and upset. Oh, well, and then I go, yeah, I remember that paper. I remember saying to you that maybe you might want a second sheet of it, but you told me you didn't want a lot of waste. And then they get a little dumbfounded. Well, I am being a little bit sarcastic about it. And they go, oh, yeah, I probably should have. But, at the time, yeah, I said, well,
not only is it 99 cents a sheet, they've had to spend the gas to drive back and forth to the store
to find another sheet. And some of them get really uptight. Oh, the ones that used to come in, and I knew, first of all, that they weren't regular scrapbookers, but there'd be usually it would be in pairs. There'd either be a young lady, late 20s, early 30s or something like that, with a guy in tow, or with an older lady in tow. And they come in and go, hi, and do you have this color and this color in paper, in cardstock? And I'd say, let me guess, you're making wedding invitations, aren't you? Yes, I am. And I said, and how many wedding invitations do you need? Oh, 100, 150. Uh-huh. And now tell me this, if your colors are not black and white, you have no hope in hell of getting enough paper to make your wedding invitations out of whatever color you want, like chartreuse with pink bunnies or whatever you're picking. They always picked weird colors every time. And then they look at me. Oh, and they get upset with me too. I could see it in their eyes like, oh, you're just being a man. You're just being ignorant. No, I said, no. I'd look at them and go, no, what I'm saying is this. Paper changes. We don't have that much paper in stock, like of one color. Said, second of all, what you're showing me, and they usually had a swatch of something like the bridesmaids' dresses or what colors they were using on their tables or something. They want it to match that, right? And I'd look and go, you can't do it. Well, it's blue. I said, you know how many shades of blue there are? As many people as there are on the face of the earth, there's that many shades of blue.
Not only that, I don't know. I always find it funny with some people with their colors too. Is they want to match the color to the dress, but is anybody gonna take the wedding invitation that you send them
And hold it up to the
hold
dress.
it up to your dress?
And go,
Right?
oh my God, what a match! Or, oh, that didn't make the mark. Oh, that's a shade off. The other problem is, and okay, if they did find the color that they wanted, they were going to use, and I would say to them, how many invitations are you making? And they'd say like 100, say. And I said, have you figured out how many invitations you can get out of one sheet of paper? Like, because, invitations vary in size. And I say to them, you might want to add extra paper onto that for a couple of reasons. One, if you make some mistakes, which you probably will if you're making these yourself, you'll need extras. You'll need spare paper. But I said, here's what often happens. And they wouldn't believe me. I'd see this disbelief and like I was talking through, out of the top of my head or out of my rear end or something. And I'd say to them, because what'll happen is you're going to run out of paper for this, and you're going to want more. And you're going to come back into the store here, and you'll be expecting to find more of it, and it won't be there, or there won't be enough of it. And then you'll want to order it. Now, you know how long it takes to order the paper? I cannot guarantee when that paper's going to come in, because our supplier may not have it in stock. They have to go to their supplier. It could take a week, it could take a month, it could take a year. And I'm sure you don't want to wait that long for it. And then I often would throw in, and when do you need these invitations for? 2 weeks from now. I go, yeah, lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine. I never would say that to their face, because that would be somewhat, sarcastic and nasty. But I thought it a lot. I said, and they still look at me as though like deer in headlights. So I said, so I strongly suggest you buy more of it right now while you can get it. They would never take my advice. 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, they'd come back in the store. They'd be in a panic. Hi, you remember me? Oh, you're Bridezilla. Yeah, I remember you. I need more of that paper. Yeah. Well, let's take a look. Nope, got 2 pieces of it. How much do you need? I need 25 sheets. Sorry, I don't have. Well, I bought it here. Yeah, I know you bought it here, but rack is empty. Rack is empty. Okay. Well, can you order it? I said, I'll look it up and see. But I said, I'm going to tell you the problem is, if it's not in stock in our supplier, we may never be able to get it for you in time. And when do you need it? Well, I have to send out my invitations this weekend. This is Thursday. Uh-huh. So then I'd say to them, there's another problem. Yes, I can get you more of that paper. They have lots of it in stock. That means we'll probably get it in a week's time. Oh, that's great. I don't need to send these out for another month. Okay, great. Except I got to warn you of this. Could be a different dye lot. What do you mean? I said, paper is produced in large quantities and shipped out. When the company that is supplying the paper runs out and they make more of it, it may not be exactly the same shade as what you bought in the first lot, because the dye lots change, because they have to mix up the formula again, and it's never the same twice. It may be very, very close, and unless people are taking their invitations and holding up against each other, they're never going to know. But of course, Bridezillas, they get all uptight about this. What do you mean it's not going to match? It's my wedding! Oh my God! Elope. One word. Elope. Screw it. That's why I suggest black and white. You can't go wrong with black and white. It goes with everything, and it's classy. And it's easy to
And
get.
you can get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, this whole thing with, how did I get on this? What was I talking about before?
Oh, who knows?
About color. Yeah, I got on to something else there. But anyways, color
Is it
thing.
fabric?
Might have been. Oh yeah, about fabric. Yeah, I was saying about, the women come in and they do this
Oh,
kind
no,
of
it
thing.
started off, everybody nickel and diming and this, that, and the other thing, and then you ended up with...
Yeah, I got onto a thing here. But anyways, hi Debbie, or B, or both. Just looking down here to see what's going on. Thanks, Cindy. Chuck is off to Barnes & Noble. Julie's here. Hi, Julie. Laura's here. Hi, Laura. Oh, Laura says, laugh out loud. It's the older ladies, I bet. That's why I buy pads of paper. Believe it or not, it isn't the older ladies, Laura. It is usually the younger ones that come in. Especially the ones where I'm telling you about the wedding invitations, obviously. The older ladies tend to know. If they're a regular scrapbooker or card maker, they know. And so they're the ones that will buy larger quantities and the whole bit because they know how it works. But it's usually the younger ones. Although I've had a few newbies that are older ladies and they've gotten caught too.
You know, a lot of people don't know about the dye lots and stuff. There you have the same problem with wool. If you buy wool,
Hi, Carol.
you have to get enough for your project because, and you have to make sure all your balls of wool come from the same dye lot.
Yeah. Well, the same with fabric.
Yeah.
You have to do that too. I mean, that's why I would rather overbuy on fabric than underbuy. Because there's no guarantee that that same fabric is necessarily going to be there if you need more of it. And it could be a different dye lot. Actually, we learned today or yesterday from them about how you tell whether or not you're getting first run or second run or third run of print material.
Yeah, we found that there's a big fabric store in our area. And it's a chain in Canada.
It's called Fabricland.
Yeah, and the ladies that work in the Ultimate Sewing Store, their fabric is very nice. It's a good quality.
Yeah, it's very good quality.
Cotton. And the stuff they sell at Fabricland is for in their quilting section or whatever is cotton as well, but it's not necessarily as good a quality.
You can see through it.
And it's a lot more expensive than what the Ultimate Sewing Store sells.
It's $21 a meter on average, or $22. It's about $14.
It's not a chain; it's just an individual sole proprietorship store. So, but anything, what they also said at the store, and actually next time we're in Fabricland to have a look, is that a lot of their fabrics are seconds, or not seconds. They're not first run.
They're not first run. They're second. They're not the perfect run. They're ones that the image has got a little offset in the printing, and they showed us how to tell. There's numbers on what they call the salvage, which is that part of the material. If you've ever bought fabric,
it's usually a white.
Band on the bottom. It says the manufacturer of it, the name of the collection, and it'll have these numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It'll have dots.
Dots with a number in them.
Yeah.
And if what they told us is if you look at those dots and the color is inside the dot and it's not blurred, the numbers aren't blurred, then you know you've got a good run of the material.
Yeah, the best quality. Yeah.
Yeah, the best quality. But if it's shifted a little bit or whatnot, it means you're picking up something that's seconds, which this company tends to sell a lot of at exorbitant prices. And so you need to know.
Because the fabric manufacturers will sell the second quality fabrics for a cheaper price than the first quality fabrics.
Yeah, Carol says Moda is her favorite brand. Yes, Moda makes really nice fabric. So does Kona. So does K-Facet. There's a bunch of them out there. But the stuff Fabricland sells is none of those manufacturers. I don't know who they are. I've never really looked at the salvage edge to see the name on them. In fact, I'm thinking there isn't a name on some of them.
Yeah.
But not in the quilting anyways. Maybe in some of their other fabrics for, apparel making or whatever. Maybe that's different. But anyways, it's basically the Michaels of fabric. You need a coupon to get any savings.
Yeah, like they have this thing where you pay $20 or something and you can get X number % off on this card or whatever. And a lot of times they have like 50% off using these cards, but they're probably regular price for everywhere else.
Yeah. Laura says individual paper has that too. Yes, there is a line on, I forgot about that, but it's down on the bottom. It shows you that too. And Carol says, I love batiks, but hard to hand quilt, but I think you mean hand quilt. Yeah, I don't hand quilt, so no, as I've said before, there would be bloodletting if I did because I am not good with the needle.
I hate hand sewing.
I had to sew on a couple of buttons on some shirts this weekend. My machine did it. I figured out how to do it on the new machine, and I don't even sew buttons on it. I let the machine do that. Okay, so anyways, moving on. Another thing that I learned though, and I always learn a lot when I go in there, is they said that material I showed you that's on the back of that latest quilt that's in the wild colors, well, there's a lot of black in it. And they said you're going to have to wash this first, and you may have to wash it one of them said as many as 8 times. She said the colors will not dull in it, but there's all this over dyeing with the black in it, and it just keeps coming out. And I said, well, what about those dye catcher sheets? Now, some of you heard me talk about those, I think, last week, and a few of you sent me information about like that where you can get them. We went searching for them. We could not find them in any of our grocery stores in the detergent.
Of course, we didn't go to every grocery
No,
store.
but we couldn't find them anywhere, and we went online, and it seemed it was something we could get through Amazon in the States or in the UK. I did end up ordering through Amazon a box of these things, but they're coming from the UK, and I don't know when I'll get them. Well, they said that I won't get them for a month or something like that. Anyways, I was telling them about this, saying to the ladies at the Ultimate Sewing Store about this, and they said, one says, go to Metro, which is a grocery store here, top shelf in the laundry detergent section, and it's called Dr. Something. She said, I think it's with a B. They have them there, they're about $5. Well, lo and behold, I went in and got them. They're Dr. Beckman, and it's called Color and Dirt Collector, and they are little dryer sheets. Well, not dryer sheets. They look like dryer sheets, but you put them in your washing machine, and they absorb dye that's coming out from your clothes so it doesn't get caught. Like if you accidentally put in a red shirt that was bleeding with a white shirt, these are supposed to prevent the color from transferring to the other material. So I put one in. Okay, I washed that piece of fabric 3 times in a row. That's all the black that came out on one. This was the second wash. This was the third wash. You can see they're getting progressively lighter. These do work. I stopped at 3 because this quilt's probably never going to get washed ever again, ever at all. But they do work. Why are they so flat, you may wonder? I let them dry out and I iron them. I think I can use them in a craft project somewhere. Yeah, keep them. May make a quilt out of die collectors. I don't know. No, not really, but no, never say never. But anyways, I have these other ones coming from the UK at some point in time, but now I have these and I know where they are, so good product. So that was a good thing. I always learn something when I'm there. I'm taking my a class with them starting on Thursday, how to use my sewing machine. Yes, I've been using my sewing machine a lot, but I don't read manuals. They're boring. You know, I'm a man. We don't ask for directions either. It's on a need-to-know basis. Like when I was trying to figure out how to sew a button on, I went into the manual then and said, how do I do this? And it told me. So anyways, I'm going to get some classes on. I want to know about tension and things like that because really, I don't understand. Well, I understand what it is, but I'm not really sure how you adjust it properly for whatever you're doing and stuff like that, and stitch length and width. And so it's probably a good idea. I spent $3,000 on a sewing machine. Maybe I should really, really learn to know the finer points about it. And the woman teaching the course, she owns the same sewing machine, so that should be good. Anita's here. Hello, everyone. Wishing Mom's very happy Mother's Day. Okay. All right. So, speaking of Mom, I don't know if any of you have seen these ads on TV, and I think I brought this up to you at one point in time, but I have new information.
Didn't you say it last week about it, or?
No, I don't think I told them this story about it. A Place for Mom. They advertise it on television here. I think they're an American company, but they have branches here in Canada. And the idea is you call them up and you're looking for some place like an assisted living environment for a parent, and they will find you a place in your area and set it all up for you. Yeah, no, they're headhunters. We were at that dinner party we were at a couple of weeks ago at our friend's place in Toronto. One of the guys at the dinner party works as a manager on a private assisted living facility. He said, you don't want to deal with them. He said, we've had them. And the way they don't charge you any money, but what they do is they take the first month's fee from
Rent or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, well, whatever from the company that you have placed your parent in that they found you a place for. So let's say it costs $2,500, $3,000 for 1 month. They get it. Okay, so in a sense, they're
Yeah, and see what this guy said, that the place that, see, a lot of places that will list with them that have empty rooms or whatever, right? That want to get them filled, right? So you may not be getting the ones that, you may be getting the bottom of the line ones that always seem to have empty rooms because nobody wants to go there.
and that's exactly what they were showing us. And to the point where, now this is the problem I have with them, is that they make it sound like they're doing all this for you and out of the kindness of their heart, okay? They make it sound like they're a not-for-profit business and that kind of thing. They never say that, but it's the way they talk. It makes it sound like they're like almost like they're government. They get funds from the government, but they don't. They're a private business. So this woman, who's my advisor, won't leave me alone. She keeps sending me emails. I got a phone call from an assistant or somebody on her behalf asking, were we happy with, did we find a place for my mother? Did they have, and all this stuff? And I said, I already sent to the advisor an email telling her, thanking her very much for her services, but I wasn't interested at this time, and if I needed any more of her services in the future, I would be sure to contact her. Yeah, they won't leave me alone. So I get an email again from the same advisor, supposedly with another place. They found me 3. None of them were acceptable.
Yeah, one of them was like a house that had like a Sturgelite in it.
She never listened to me when I explained to her my mother's situation. And one thing I told her right up front and several times over, my mother's mobility is limited. So one of her places on the list is a house that has
a two-story house.
Two-story house. The rooms are on the second floor. And you should have stairs. A lot of stairs. I saw pictures of
the interior. Well, they have a stair glide, but your mother would never be able to figure
No,
out
she'd never get that.
Anyway, so.
But it's just that. It's a private home.
Yeah.
Like, oh, come on. There's, no.
So they're stacking seniors in this private home?
Yeah. So, anyways, I wrote her an email, and this time I wasn't nice. I said, I have told you before that I no longer need your services. I'm now going to tell you exactly why I don't want your services, and so I just told her what I told you. You're a headhunter. This is how it works, the whole bit. You're only interested in getting your commission, getting a warm body into a vacant room someplace so you can collect the fee. I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to be continually harassed by you, and if I get any more emails or contact from you, I will put in a formal complaint. Now, I don't know who I'm going to complain to, but I just left it at that kind of a thing. So don't contact me again. And that was about a week ago or so. Haven't had any contact since, so we'll see. Haven't helped.
Well, the other thing that the guy that we were talking to at the dinner party said that manages one, said that this place for mom gets the 1 month rental. The first month rent they get it, but like if the person is placed and they only stay for 2 months, they still have to pay up the first month rent. So
yeah, so they didn't
deal with it's not like there's a fee. A clause in there that says we'll give you the first month's rent if the person stays a year or 6 months or something like that.
No, and then the thing that gets me too is on the Canadian commercials they have this woman talking about it as their representative who is an Olympian from the women's hockey whatever or something. Don't follow it, and she makes it all sound like it's a commercial. Yeah, commercials always do this, but she makes it sound like this is just because she's a personality and she's got a very trusting face and voice.
Everybody's in it to make money.
Yeah. So, no. So, don't deal with them if you ever have the opportunity to. It's not to your benefit. Anyways, moving on. Andrew says, sounds like the first commission is a security deposit. I just think it's an outright fee.
Yeah,
they're taking, that's their fee.
That's their fee. It's a placement fee.
Yeah.
They're getting a placement fee for finding you a place to, or they're finding a body to.
They're putting
fill
out
the hole.
that's their headhunters.
Yeah.
So it's called a headhunter.
I call them headhunters. They used to call me at work all the time and try and get me placed in another job because they would get a commission from placing me in placing somebody into another job.
Yeah, and this woman that's the advisor, she probably gets a percentage,
Yeah.
of that as well, and the company gets whatever
Yeah.
their share out of it and the whole bit. So, yeah, I'm not saying that.
You have to actually. It's not saying that you shouldn't use them. You may, if you're in a situation where you have to find a place quick or something, maybe it's an option.
Yeah.
But you have to be aware of how they operate. So,
But they make it sound like they genuinely care about the situation your loved one is in and the whole bit. This woman, I talked to her on the phone. She was very nice. She sounded like she was very understanding about everything and all this. She even went as far to say that now, once your mother's in, we get her into a place, then we can, I know you want to get her on a waiting list for a nursing home, so we can help you with that. No, they're not going to help you with
No,
that.
they're
They'll
not.
walk right away. Once they've got her in there, that's it. You'll never hear from them
sort of
again.
like real estate agents. When you buy a house, they'll tell you anything to get you to buy
That's
the
right.
house.
In fact, this woman said, she asked me if my mother had any. I said she's on a fixed income. She has a limited amount of money. And she says, well, does she have any savings? I said she has some savings. They come from the sale of her house that she sold 4 years ago. And she said, well, it would only be about $30,000 a year on average for these. And that won't really put a dent into. Yes, it will. Yeah. My mother got some money from the house. She didn't get millions of dollars. And that's chipping away. I mean, that's money I've got in the bank getting interest on it and some investments on it so that the day comes when she actually gets into a nursing home, she doesn't have to worry about anything financially ever in her life. But if you're going to chip away $30,000 or more a year from that before she's in that situation, there's not going to be a lot left over.
And not only that, then you'll be on the hook to have to look after it.
That's right.
They don't care about that.
No, they don't. But they make it sound like they're doing you this big favor and they're really concerned.
Yeah,
They're
I
not. They're about as concerned as a used car salesman is about you. Kind of a thing. Bev says, my daughter used them looking for a place for me when we thought I would need to be in assisted living. Every place they showed us was crap. Exactly.
Yeah, because like I said, what they're doing is they're placing people in. They're taking places that have rooms available, and a lot of the places that have rooms available are crappy places.
Yeah, one of the places that was on their list is a well-known bad place in our area. I mean, the reviews that are written about it, we've had friends that had somebody in there. And
we had a friend's friend, her father was in the place, and basically they killed him. Basically,
they killed him.
Because he was severely diabetic, and they screwed up his medication really bad.
Yep.
And basically, he ended up, it got where he ended up having to have a leg removed at one point.
Yep.
And basically, they kept screwing up his medication.
Yeah. So anyways, I don't recommend them if you're in a situation where you are looking for something like that. So moving on. So we also got rid of a portable air conditioner yesterday, which we've had in our basement for almost 5 years. My brother blew into town 5 years ago, felt guilty. That's when my father was still alive. My parents were living in their house. My parents did not have central air conditioning. They never had it in their house. And it was hot that summer. So my brother decided, because he was feeling guilty, that's more than that, he went and he bought him one of those stupid portable air conditioners, not the kind you put in the window, but they're a unit, and they have a big
I call
tube.
them R2D2.
Yeah, they have a big tube that comes out and it goes through a window. And they set it up for my parents, and they did a shitty job. To the point where we had to take it all apart, down, and relocate it into their master bedroom. They put it in a middle bedroom. They have a small house, but it isn't strong enough to cool more than one room, of course. Those things never are. So we set it up, and my parents never really used it that summer. They had it on a few times. My mother complained, well, it's noisy. And then she said, and I'm cold. It's too cold, and this kind of stuff. So when we sold my mother's house after my father passed away, and everything, we're cleaning it out. we brought it. My brother probably dropped about $500 on the bloody thing, and but he's in BC, and so we brought it home here, and we don't need it. We have central air, so it sat in our laundry room for all this time. So Walter was on a kick of cleaning up the garage and whatnot, and we've always talked about it. I said, okay, I'm taking a picture of it right now, and I'm going down. This was Friday. I'm going to put it on Kijiji, which is one of those online, places where you can sell stuff, and I put $100 or best offer. I was willing to give it away. So let's take it away from us. We don't want it. We don't need it. Cost us nothing. Big deal. So sure enough, somebody I know said they wanted it. And I said, okay, it's yours. No problem. And they were going to pay for it. I said, no, you're not going to pay for it. I said, cost us nothing. We know who you are. The only reason we asked money for it was because, for people we didn't know or whatever, but we're just happy that if it's useful to you and whatnot, go with it. Take it. So they did. So that's one less thing that we have in the house. We have a lot of things we need to get rid of in the house. So anyways, that brings us up to getting to know you kind of a thing. I have a letter from Anita, an email she wrote last week, and I asked her if it was okay if I could share this, and she said, yep. Because part of this email actually talks about that whole issue that I've talked about several times about Patreon and stuff like that, and I thought she had some very interesting insights on this. So I'm just going to read what Anita wrote here in part. I want to share something, Anita says, on the Patreon discussion. I have been following some YouTubers that do Patreon. I picked a young man in his early 30s to support on Patreon. I actually found him through some other YouTube site that focuses on Paris, France. This young man vlogs every day. He is pursuing a writing career of science fiction books. Actually, I'm not a science fiction reader. I followed his vlog since February 2018, and I went back and watched more before that date. He is an American and works many different jobs to live in Paris. I liked his story, and I loved the travel sites of his blog. He also had a Kickstarter for his latest book, so I contacted him, and after some nice conversations, I decided to donate to his Patreon account and ordered his book through the Kickstarter campaign for my husband. He spends hours editing his videos for his daily vlog. His Patreon account is for travel and video expenses. He is quite honest about his life, and he offers certain things on his Patreon. My donation is $10 a month. One thing he has shared is that he feels a certain obligation to his patrons. As he should. I think he gets currently $1,000 a month. He travels and his videos are great. He takes a camera and snaps pictures, and then on his Patreon he offers the camera to his patrons. He picks somehow, and whoever wins, he mails the camera to them to develop the pictures. Last time the winner of the camera sent him, and she's got $4 signs, to develop the pictures as postcards that we can have or download. Okay, enough background. One thing that he shared recently was that when people visit Paris who are patrons, he tries to meet up with them if at all possible. However, since he has several jobs and he travels, he may not be able to do that. He did have a Patreon get really upset with him over this same situation. He has also started offering a t-shirt of the month. You can order one if you like. It brings in more money. So I think you were right about the Patreon account. I know many artists are using it. I know they offer prints each month, but then again, you have to include shipping costs. Lots of travel vlogs also. I think it could work for you as a means of getting some money to upgrade on new equipment if needed. I wonder about people who are using it to depend on that income stream. I think it would be fleeting at best. So the whole issue here about Patreon is, and my issue too, and it's reinforced here, you have to give something back to people. Now, if you're an artist, I can see you giving them like prints of some of your artwork or things like that, but I'm not an artist like that on that caliber, so I can't do that. And then if you don't give back something or you change what you're going to get, you could get people upset with you. As Anita's mentioned here, that this guy ran into a problem with one of the people that was one of his patrons. I think the bottom line of this whole discussion, which I've discussed here and I've discussed on the vlog, so I'm not going to belabor it, is I don't want to be beholden to anybody. I don't charge anybody for my vlogs, for my YouTube channel, nothing like that. I'm not asking anybody to send me any money, nothing. So basically, I own this content, and I can put anything I want up on this content, within reason, of course. But if I start to get money from people, then I no longer own my content. They own a part of the content.
They're basically paying for it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then if they're paying for it, then I have an obligation to them to give them service. Not doing it. Not getting into that at all. So anyways, thank you for that, Anita, because
So you can just give shitty service.
I'll just give shitty service, so it doesn't matter, yeah. So,
It doesn't matter, right?
you know, crap on you. Doesn't matter. Whatever. But bye, Cindy. Bye, Anita. Bye, Cindy. I don't know who's leaving. Somebody's leaving. Anyways, okay. So I just want to read that, and I would really enjoy if you've got something on your chest you want to get off, or you've got something interesting you want to talk about, or whatever. You want to send me an email or whatever to read here online and discuss with other people, please.
Yeah, if you have a topic you want to bring up.
Anything.
Or something, yeah.
Anything. You know, as I've said before, we want to make this a
Sort of
two-way.
interactive, yeah.
Yeah, more interactive. Because we said last week, and I said this on my vlog this past week too. When we finished last week's vlog, or last week's live, we kind of went, well, that was kind of boring. Because we didn't really have that much to talk about that day. So sometimes there's dry spells, right? And, well, I could make it up, but I do that at the art gallery all the time when I take them on tours, but who knows. So, moving on. So, let's talk some politics. Great comedy show on Canadian television, Ontario television, this past week. The three candidates running for premier of our province were on a live debate. Oh, that was funny. It was a comedy of errors. It really was. But the biggest joke is this guy we talked about before, this Doug Ford guy, who is basically the Canadian version of Donald Trump. And I hate to say it, but I almost think Donald Trump has a few more brain cells than Ford has, which isn't saying much. But it was kind of fun. But he comes up with all kinds of interesting things about, he pulls his money out of that. I'm going to put 1.9 billion into this. I'm going to put another 5 billion into this. Where's this money coming from? He's good at saying a dollar amounts and where he's going to put it. He's not saying where it's coming from.
And he says stupid things.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, he made some comment about, I'm not exactly sure, I didn't read it that carefully, some comment about people living in Northern Ontario, giving them more jobs. And he says, well, something about the immigrants or whatever. He was going to take care of his own first. Like meaning regular Canadians that live here and not the immigrants or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Well, Canada's all immigrants.
Yeah, this country is built on immigrants. Everybody's from somewhere else, pretty much. And the other thing, too, is he is not the common man. He's a multimillionaire.
Yeah, he constantly talks about the little people and giving back to the people that are like everyday people and all this other stuff. But he himself is multimillionaire.
Yeah, Anita says, oh my God, wasn't his brother the one in Canada who was nuts and died from cancer?
Yes.
He was the mayor of Toronto.
Also, he was, they don't bring this up much, but at one point in time when he was younger, he used to be a drug dealer too.
Yeah.
So.
Like, it's just a comedy of errors. The scary part is, though, he has a very
Chances are he'll probably get in.
He'll probably get in. Because one thing about our politics is there's nobody that's good. You just vote for who you think's the lesser of the evils.
Yeah, they're all crap.
It's sad. It's really sad. They're all crap. But we're Canadians, so what do? We go, well, whatever. In 4 years, we'll have another election, so we can just wait it out. Sorry. Yeah, like, what's that? What's that all about? You know, a boot. A boot. We don't say a boot.
We don't say a boot here, but some of the people in the outer lying areas say a boot.
Yeah, and Laura says, yes, his brother was the meth addict and Doug was the drug dealer. Yeah, I mean, it's just sad. It's really sad. So, I have a feeling we're just falling into the same thing as what happened with the Americans in Trump.
Well, it always happens here is that you have so many years of Liberal government, and then everybody gets ticked off at Liberal government, so then they try the PC government, then you get all pissed off at the PC government, then the Liberal government gets back in.
Yeah. Andrea says, no capable, decent person wants to go into politics now. No, people who go into politics, I'm sorry, they're not there for the people, they're there for the pension. You know, in this country, if you've been in politics 2 terms,
The pension and it's their venue of stardom, their
yeah,
popularity.
they're not in it for people. No. That's bullshit. That's not what they're in there for. Anita says, I've decided that I'm not going to vote if I can't find a candidate that has some decent values. I can see that, but I don't agree with that, Anita. I feel, even if you have to vote for the lesser of the evils, I feel you need to vote because you have no right
to
to criticize what the government is doing if you haven't registered to vote. That's the way I feel about it. So, yes, you're voting for an asshole, and it's hard to decide which one is the lesser asshole.
Which asshole to vote
But
for.
with it. But the point is that you've still got
At least
to vote.
if you vote for somebody that doesn't get in and the other person gets in, you say, well, I didn't vote for them.
Yeah. I mean, I have been in conversations with people who have been going on and on about this government, blah, 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 and this. And I said, did you vote? No, I didn't vote last time because they're all assholes. And I go, then you ought to shut your mouth up because you have no opinion because you have not registered your vote. So what gives you the right to criticize? You don't have the right. You had the right to vote. You don't have the right to criticize unless you've exercised your right to vote. That's the way I look at it. I know anyways. I'm not getting down on you, Anita. Don't worry about that. I'm just saying in general. Well, she says, I know I used to think that way too, but this past election person did me in. Laura says, I'd rather vote for the devil I know than the devil I don't. Well, yeah, that's basically how I feel too, Laura. I mean, yeah, it's very discouraging. There's no 2 ways about it. They're all a-holes. It's simple as that. But what can you do? In Canada, we go, well, 4 more years, then we'll vote again. Sorry. Okay. But that brought us to another thing. Because one of the things that this Ford guy hasn't said yet is that he hasn't officially said that he's going to stop the minimum wage from going up.
He did said that.
Oh, did he finally say it?
Oh, he has said it. He said he's going to give tax breaks to lower income people. Problem is, a lot of lower income people don't pay taxes to begin with. So.
They don't make enough to pay the taxes.
Right. So what's the tax? That's giving a tax break to lower income people is a rich man's comment because they pay a lot of tax, or they pay a reasonable amount of tax. I don't know if they pay any taxes anyway. They probably get out of it.
Who?
Rich people.
Well, yeah, they have a lot of they pay some taxes, but they have all these things that.
But that's what their tax breaks. Well,
Yeah.
He's talking about giving. Okay, you get a student that's making minimum wage, and that works 10 hours a week or something, or works 5 hours a week or something. He's not paying any taxes right now. So if his minimum wage goes up a buck, right? That makes more money for him because he still doesn't think. But if you give him a 10% discount on the taxes he pays, he doesn't pay any taxes.
Yeah, no. So it sounds good, but in reality, it doesn't work.
No.
But this brought up the point about we have a fairly high minimum wage in. There's only, I think, one province that has a higher minimum wage than Ontario.
Alberta has a $15 minimum wage. We're at 14 right now.
And we're supposed to be going to 15 next year.
If
the Liberals get in. If the PCs, if the Progressive Conservatives get in, which is this
they're
one.
They're going to do the tax break thing.
That thing. So, you've heard me talk about the whole thing about tipping. Well, did a little research and found that, I always said the tipping mentality is very American and it's carried over to us. You tip for everything. But now I think I have a different perspective on this. I think I understand now why Americans tip for everything. I did not realize that in the restaurant business, serving people make really low amounts of money, like $2 and something an hour in some states. And the reason they make lower amounts was some of the states don't have a minimum wage. Others have a lower minimum wage than what we're used to. And in some cases, the reason that they pay their wait staff less is because they figure they're making it up with the tips.
Well, actually, I think in Ontario they do make a little less than 14 in restaurants in tipping positions, but I think it's only a couple of dollars less
What? Here.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's nothing like when some states, like Anita says, oh yes, they only survive on tips. So, I didn't really understand that or know that. So now that makes a whole different scenario. In fact, to the point that the next time we're in the States and we're in a restaurant or something, then, we're going to tip. Like, well, we tip
We
anyways.
tip anyways,
But
we'll
I
probably
mean,
tip a little more.
yeah,
than
like
normally
if
do.
the service is good, then they're going to get a little bit more because I didn't realize that these poor people are working for like under $3 an hour, some of them in some states. How do you live off of $3 an hour? You can't. You can't. So, what's that all about? Really? The land of the brave. We've got it good up here. Really. When you put, even in spite of the conservatives and Doug Ford and the whole bet, I mean,
Plus, they get Medicare.
what, here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, then Nita says the working poor. And that's what Andrea says too. And they don't, so they have a second job. Yeah, like, really? What kind of quality of life is that? It's not. It's not a quality of life. So, yeah, it gave me a whole new perspective on.
Yeah, well,
on that.
actually, I did some research. I looked up all the minimum wages across Canada. Then I got an interest in minimum wages in the United States, and I started looking at some of them. And according to what I looked at, actually, they also found out that some of the places in the United States pay youth less. Like if they have a minimum wage, but it's like for people over 20. If you're under 20 in some places, you get paid less than the minimum wage. So,
Well, that's just student labor there.
yeah,
Which-
and so it was a bit of an eye opener when I was looking around. I think some states paid more. I think California had a decent minimum wage. The list that I saw was that they get paid $11 an hour. Whether they were in a tipping or a non-tipping situation.
Yeah.
But but there were other states that were paying $7 or $8 an hour for if you're over 20, for something if you're under 20, and to something if you were in a tipping position.
Well, Kraft and Bev says, whenever we go out to eat, we always try to tip in cash so as they can keep the money and not have to report it because then they have to pay taxes on it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's a good point because up here I'm used to tipping, but I tip through like if I've paid with it with my credit card, on those. And in Canada, we're all about the little machines with the card and the whole bit, and it comes up automatically and asks you if you want to add a tip to it, and that's how I usually do it. They make it really easy, actually. They work out all the percentages for you and just push a number next to it. And that's the way I usually do it.
Yeah, I've noticed that in some places in the States that we've been at. I remember we went out with Buddy and Patrick at one time, a long time ago, when we were in Provincetown.
No, it was a long time ago.
And they insisted on leaving a cash tip. Remember?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And we thought that was really, well, not really strange, but just we're so used to just doing it automatically through the machine because that's usually how we pay for things. It's just more convenient. But that's a good thing to know now for the future. If we're down in the States, whenever you get a new president. What else is said here? Kathy says, right to work states like Arizona are pathetic pay-wise. And Bev says, I live in Idaho. We have horrible pay for minimum wage and for those who are the working poor. And Kathy says, I leave cash tip as well. And Anita says, I have big concerns about where people who do these jobs in retail where work as things are automated. Was watching a vlog of Paris and the McDonald's was I can never say that word. The little station, Kozak.
Well, how do you spell it?
You know what I'm talking about.
I can't read it from here.
Oh, put on your glasses. I can't even. A little booth.
I don't know.
Kiosk. That's the word. That's
Kiosk.
it. Yay, I win. I got the word. Okay, kiosk. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, Catherine was about like kiosk. Yeah. Um, okay, now we're having a whole discussion on how to say kiosk. Okay, I had a mental block. Okay.
Retard.
Or you mean retard? You didn't even know.
I couldn't read it.
And that's not politically correct. I'm not retard. I'm mentally challenged.
Okay.
I'm mentally, what's the new term? They don't call them mentally challenged anymore. There's a new term for it. Something about specially enabled or
No,
I don't know.
handicapable or
I don't know. Don't say retard. That's not good.
Yeah, I know, but never
No,
mind.
screw off. Anyways, so moving on here. Differently abled, Kathy says. Okay. Whatever. We have such fun terms for things like in the old days it was real easy. Yeah, they're just a retard, don't you know? Yeah, well, we can't say that anymore. Differently led. Ables. Okay, I've started something here too.
Yeah,
All right.
I probably started.
All right, let's move on to what are we watching this week? Okay, no, I haven't finished it yet, but you did. The 3%.
I haven't finished it. I went ahead.
Oh. Well, anyways, it's on Netflix, of course. It's called 3%. It's actually quite an interesting show.
It's actually Brazilian, and apparently it's the first one that was actually in Portuguese, which I guess they speak.
Yeah, they speak Portuguese.
And they dubbed it. And well, you don't like the dubbing on it, but I think it's okay. So
Well, I always find it sounds like they have the same actors that do the voices, and they all have the same. It's like they don't seem to have the passion in their voice.
yeah, I suppose. But
Like, I'm pregnant and I need an abortion. You know, I'm pregnant. I need an abortion. Not I'm pregnant. I need an abortion. No, they never get. And you would think they're Brazilian. Shouldn't they be getting really hot and
I
bothered?
do notice that they have a lot of Brazilian music in it, which
Yeah.
kind of annoys me a little bit. It's not very, but I mean, it's kind of interesting. It's sort of like a utopian type.
Yeah, they have to. They're in this competition to get on this island where 3% of the population live and have a really great life. Everybody else lives in poverty.
Yeah.
On the mainland or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's pretty good. Now, I saw another one though, but this is on Amazon Prime. And I have Amazon Prime because I broke down and I figured I ordered enough stuff off Amazon. I might as well get Prime for $79 a year. And I didn't know they got a television station with it. I just thought I was getting free shipping. But anyways, there was a show on there called Dr. Thorne. It's a little mini series. It only has 4 episodes. And it's by Julian Fellows, who's the guy who wrote Downton Abbey, if you ever watched that. And it's based on a novel by a Victorian writer called Anthony Trollope. And I never studied his books. I knew who he was, sort of, but I never read any of his books when I was studying, like doing English literature in university, kind of a thing. But now after seeing this series, I kind of want to read some of his books. I guess he was a pretty prolific writer. But it's one of those typical Victorian style things, where there's, they're looking for real romance, but this poor girl versus the rich girls, and the poor guys versus the rich guys, and everybody in the upstairs, downstairs, and all that kind of stuff. But I enjoy those kind of shows. So he didn't watch it. I did. I liked it. So it's just out there. But if you don't have Amazon Prime, can't see it. So, and then you've been watching something called what? Alien?
The Alienist.
The Alienist.
And it's about, I guess they used to call people alienists if they were a psychiatrist that specialized in strange mental illnesses. In this one, it's about, it takes place in New York, and it's boy prostitutes that are getting murdered. And it's sort of a murder mystery. It's kind of strange. But it is, I finished the first season last night.
I need to catch up.
I thought it was pretty good. It has has a really kind of a bizarre subject to it and a darker side of society.
Well, I'll have to catch up on that. Now, Anita says on PBS here in the U.S. tonight, New Little Women begins. No, that would be kind of... We can't get a PBS station on here,
Yes,
though.
we can.
Can we?
We got PBS on.
Do we?
On basic, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Maybe look for that. Maybe set it up so records it.
Basic cable.
Now I wonder, is this a new Little Women series? Because there was, I thought a few years ago I watched one that was an actual series, or am I thinking of the movie? I read Little Women years ago. It's a good book. I read Little Men too. They were both good books. And Anita says, I love Julian Fellows. Well, if you love Julian Fellows and you've got Amazon Prime, I strongly suggest you look for Dr. Thorne. Because it's typical Julian Fellows. In fact, he comes on at the beginning of it, like those old, remember those old shows that used to come on PBS, Masterpiece Theater? And there was a guy that used to come on at the first and go, good evening. Tonight we are watching a strange romance between this, that, and the other thing. Well, this is what Julian Fellows does at the beginning of it. And in fact, I think he's doing it tongue-in-cheek when he does this. Because he's got the little fireplace off the side. He's in the big wingtip armchair kind of a thing, and he talks this way. And I'm pretty sure he's doing a little bit of a parody on that. Laura says, I'm still mad that Joe and Lori didn't end up together. Oh yeah, in Little Women. Well, I think it's too late, Laura. The book's 100 years old. So, well, we finally saw Infinity Wars, which is the one with all the Marvel superheroes and everything. And it's got a really high rating. It was okay. A lot of action in it, a lot of special effects.
Like tons of special effects.
But
they tried to throw in some comedy too, but I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old, and
I think what you have to be is you've got to be someone who's very much into, they call it the Marvel universe, into the comic books and the things like that. Like I have a friend that's big
right
into that
it.
and right into it. And I guess this Infinity War movie is based on a series that were out in the comic books back I don't know when, and he thought it was pretty good. He thought it was fairly reliable to the comic books and the whole bit.
It was okay.
It was okay.
But it wasn't. I wouldn't have given it a 9 or something like that.
No, but that's what the general rating was. They said, and it made what? It got like opening box office, like it was the highest ever or something.
I think it's more something that's maybe the younger group
maybe
get into.
Hi, Nairi. And he says, I believe that Julian is writing a new series set in the USA. Oh, okay. I read one of his books, too, that wasn't made into a movie, and I can't think what it was. I read it a couple of years ago.
I guess it doesn't matter.
No, I don't remember it. After I'm finished reading them, I move on to something else, and I don't remember them. I forget them. Unless I have to teach it.
I have that with movies. I'll watch a movie, and then I'll forget what it's about.
So, yeah, but you also forget whether or not you're wearing underwear.
Yeah, right.
Are you?
I think so.
Well, thank God no one can go below. Like, that would not be pretty. So what's on YouTube? Well, I don't have anything, but Anita, in that same email that she sent me this week, mentioned something that was kind of interesting. And I've actually done a very quick little 30-second review of one of these particular YouTube channels that'll be on my vlog tomorrow. But she says, I stumbled upon a sketchbook revival event recently. I was looking up on YouTube Sketchbook School by Danny Gregory. I like his site, and I also like one of his instructors, Liz Steele. On her blog, she mentioned Karen Abend, who was sponsoring this free sketchbook revival series. It featured many artists, and you got 2 videos a day from April 23rd through to May 4th. The videos are up till May the 18th. I signed up for it and have really enjoyed this. So I looked up the Sketchbook School, and school is spelled S-K-O-O-L. And if you are someone who is into sketching, into drawing, and that kind of thing, this looks very good. If you want to learn more about how to improve your drawing and that kind of stuff, they have a lot of videos about that. I just suck at drawing, and I don't really believe anybody can teach me how to draw because I just don't have the talent for it, period. But it looks really good. So anyways, I did do a quickie review of it, and it'll be on the vlog tomorrow. So if you're into drawing or that kind of stuff, artist stuff, you might be interested in checking out this YouTube channel. So thanks for that, Anita. And then Anita also said, I liked your idea of us doing a video and sending it to you to share. I'm currently working on a sketchbook, and I may just take you up on that offer. Please do, Anita. My drawing skills are not great. That doesn't matter. I do much better with mixed media chaos. I live in a small, lovely historical town where I could get a lot of things to sit out and sketch this season. That's always something I wish I could do. I like the idea of that you go out on a nice day and you sit in a park and you can actually sketch the trees and the wildlife and whatever else comes in your head. And mine would all be stick people. So that not going to work for me. But I've always liked that idea. Laura says, or Anita says, oh, good, yes, I'm working on my drawing skills, which are not good. And Laura says, I'm not great either, but I like James Luke Burke and his YouTube channel. I may have to look him up as well, Laura, to see who this person is. Luke, or was it Luke Burke? Okay. Anyways, I spoke about this idea on my vlog this past week. I think it'd be really cool if some of you were to make a little video. Everybody has the capability pretty much now. If you've got a cell phone, you can make a video. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just put it on the selfie thing and talk about maybe what you're doing, or show us something about where you live, or something you're reading, or something you've discovered. It doesn't have to be mega long, 30 seconds, a minute, a couple of minutes, whatever grabs you, and send it to me by email. And I can't feature it here on live because I don't have the technology to be able to do that, but I can put it into my vlog and show it there. And I think that would be really cool, because not everybody is interested in having their own YouTube channel and doing what I do and what we do with this kind of thing. And I get it. But people are always taking videos anymore of things because we have the capability. It's usually in our pocket for the most part.
That's why you get all the embarrassing things that happen in planes and stuff.
But I'm not asking for embarrassing things.
No.
I'm asking for things that you think other people would be interested in knowing or seeing, or whatever. Again, it's another way to make this more interactive through my YouTube channel. So if you've got something, send it to me if you want. Okay? And we'll go from there. Okay. So I don't have a new YouTube channel to share with you this week because we've been watching the same old we've been watching a lot of quilting ones. And when I say we, I mean I'm sitting there watching them while Walter goes to sleep. So I'm still reading the same book I've always been reading, and we know what's cooking. So what's coming up? Already told you about my sewing class on Thursday, but we have the long weekend coming up. This is Victoria weekend for
Gotta buy
us.
some flowers.
Oh yeah, this is traditionally the weekend coming up when people go out and buy all their flowers for their gardening. We call it the 24th of May weekend, but it doesn't always fall on the 24th. It falls on the weekend closest to the 24th.
It's usually the weekend where we know in Canada that we won't, or in this area, that we won't get frost anymore.
We shouldn't get frost anymore, so it's safe to plant. And you can start to wear white. Yes, people. The 24th of May, you cannot wear white before the 24th of May, and you cannot wear white after Labor Day, which is the first long weekend in September. Those are the rules. Don't do it. I've seen people already wearing white, ladies wearing white before this weekend coming up. It is not the 24th of May yet. No, there is no such thing as winter white. No, only winter white is snow. No, 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 no. You cannot do it. I had that drilled in my head as a kid. My mother and my grandmothers always said, you cannot wear white before the 24th of May, and you can't wear white after the Labor Day weekend in September. So be it. And if you are going to wear white, check your underwear. I saw one the other day. Okay, this is funny, and I should have taken a picture, but that would have been rude. She's wearing white pants. This is what got me on this whole thing, because I just thought of this. She's wearing white pants. One, it's not the 24th of May. Can't do it. Two, you got to wear something under. If you're going to wear sheer white, certain colors come through, okay? Now, here's the funny part. I'm not sure what color of underwear she was wearing, but I suspect she wasn't. Why do I know that? Well, from the front, let's just say someone needed a shave. Never mind. You figure it out. So, yeah, okay. Another reason why you shouldn't wear white. Okay. Kathy says, Carol says, oh, geez, Steve, tell us how you really feel. Thought I just did. Laura says, it was shoes for my mom. Oh, yeah, white shoes. And Kathy, I wear white whenever. Although I was raised with similar values to yours, I do check what's under and how it looks. Yeah. And Anita says, Stephen, I got a bicycle for Mother's Day, and I'll pack up my sketchbook supplies and ride out. Okay, well, good for you. Anita, get out there and do that. And Laura goes, ooh. Got it, didn't ya? Yeah. Let's not even talk about camel toes. And we're
Speaking
moving.
of-
No, go there. No. This is getting just a little too, maybe a little racy at this point. So anyways, long weekend's coming up, and there's a little town east of us, about an hour east of us, and every year they have art in the park, which sounds more grandiose than it actually is.
It's a little tiny place.
It's a little field in this little town, and, well, if you want jewelry, you know, the kind of thing you see at the flea market or people making their own jewelry, some of it's quite attractive, interesting. They have a lot of that. And then they have a lot of starving artists.
Yeah, there's a lot of artists that have moved to that area.
Yeah.
And there's, I don't know if it still is, but they used to nickname it Fruit Valleys.
Yeah, yeah, that's another story for another day. Or if you want some really interesting art that's been done on a pitchfork or a shovel or an old handsaw, they have that too. Actually, we used to go for the cookies because there's a place down there that makes these really great short.
Yeah, but they moved to
but they
a
moved
different-
to
to a different
another
town.
place, and they didn't have a stall last year. And believe me, they don't charge anything for this art in the park.
They better not.
Good thing, because you can do it all in under 10 minutes.
But it's a nice drive on a spring day.
And there's
there.
some getchy little stores in this little tiny town and whatnot, so it's kind of neat. So I thought, well, if the weather's nice that weekend, we could go down and do art in the park and then maybe head our way towards Peterborough, the metropolis of Peterborough. It's huge. It's big. It's awesome.
You have lift lock.
I'm sarcastic. Now, there's something I've never been to in all my
The
life.
lift lock?
I've never been to the lift locks.
Oh,
But then again,
the lift locks are these big lifts.
yeah, I know that lifts puts them over on the other side. Yeah, I know what they are.
Severn River.
Laura says, which tiny town? Warkworth. So, yeah. Of course, there's downtown Coburg, too. Downtown Coburg usually has little gitchy things, of course. Last time we were there.
No, last time we were there wasn't.
No, it
great.
wasn't that great. It looks like it should be, but it's not. That's right.
No, last time we were there, I remember going to the banking machine. Remember we went to the banking machine?
Oh, yeah.
And the guy brought his daughter there, and she goes, "I know your PIN."
To that, okay.
And I started to laugh. I said, "Oh, so what is it?"
Oh, and Anita says, we have a huge outdoor antiques festival held at the fairgrounds next weekend. I'll be going. You're in Idaho, aren't you? Want to drive to Idaho? Nairi says, take a drive and take some pictures for us. Yeah, I probably will. And I'll have to post them, of course, on my vlog. And I still haven't forgotten the request. Somebody asked last year about, doing a little thingy about the art gallery here. And I haven't got over there to do that yet, but I will do that. That's on my list of things to share. Laura says, I'm going to Coburg for Scottish Festival soonish. So when did they have that? They don't have that in the long weekend, though, do they, Laura? Or I know that they advertise every. We usually go down there on
Canada
Day because they have that huge market that's there. You pay to get into it, but they've got all kinds of interesting things in there.
Lots of vendors.
Yeah, lots of vendors, lots of starving artists, stuff, and things like that. There's some kind of cool stuff in there as well, but that doesn't come up for another couple of months. So, anyways, anything you've got planned this week?
Me?
Yeah, any
Well, I wanted
lunches?
to start prepping for painting, right?
Oh yeah, we bought paint. We're gonna start bringing the living room and our master bedroom into this century, eventually. So Walter picked the colors. Like, he gets all these paint chips. He lays them out and go, what do you like? Well, first of all, you've already picked out the paint chips, and they're all a similar color variables, like in the same range, okay? So I'm being directed in a certain way at that point. Then
Well, I didn't pick pink.
Then
You wouldn't have picked
I didn't
pink.
want pink. Then he organizes them in such a way where you know that what he's preferring, he's directing you to this pile. The other ones are up there just like to make you think you have a choice. And then I go, yeah, I like that one. And he goes, oh, I don't know. I think that one might be too dark. I was thinking this one.
No, that wouldn't have been the other way around. You would have, probably the one I picked is too dark for you. You're always picking the really light colors.
Everything goes with white.
We already have white on the walls. We don't
After
need
the
the white
24
on there.
Anyways, I usually agree. Oh, I have no choice.
Not only that, I'm the one.
He's the one that's going to do it. So I just go along for the ride. I mean, yeah, fine. Looks lovely to me. It's fine. Whatever you want to do. He has a project for me, though. He wants me to make cushions for our sectional downstairs in the rec room. And I'm going to make them out of some of my fabric that I've just designed. Again, I have a new line called Marbleized Glitz. Not in a store near you yet, or maybe never. But, so I'm going to do that. And Nairi says, good plan, Walter. Works every time. Yeah. Well, when Anita says, well played, Walter. Yeah, as if I didn't know. Like, really? This is gray, not blonde. Okay. So, I just go along with it because he's Dutch. Have you ever tried to win a battle with a Dutch person? It's impossible. That's why the Nazis couldn't actually conquer them, because the Dutch said, no, we'll go along with it for a while, but we're going to get rid of you eventually. Yeah, stay for the cheese. Anyways, so yeah, now whenever he gets around to doing it, and it'll be like a mess, but whatever. So, okay. So next week, the only thing we've got looking forward to is taking my mother to lunch. Watching her move a French fry across the plate this way and go, I'm full. And she'll pack it up and take it home and eat it for dinner later.
Yeah, like she'll order chicken fingers and eat half a finger.
Yeah, half a finger. Chickens don't have fingers anyway, so what are those made out of? Anyways, yeah, got to finish my quilt. I have to do some mixed media art. I have a project downstairs. You know, this craze about reverse canvases. Okay, this is the stupidest.
You already said this.
Did I tell you about that?
This was last
Oh, I just say that last one. Now I'm going to repeat myself, so give it up. But it's still stupid.
Old man.
I just saw a video again this afternoon on it. Someone's doing a reverse canvas for Mother's Day. Wow, cheap bugger. Go out and get her something nice. Anyways, okay. I think that's enough. Nothing else to talk about. So, everybody, it's time to go.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to you that are mothers. Take it as you wish. And my vlog will be up sometime tomorrow, and we'll see you next week. Well,